this is Chef Stephanie, your culinary arts manager with Easy Eats for Everyone. Today we're going to be making my family's famous apple crisp recipe. To get started, make sure you pull your hair back, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, social distance if possible, and if not, grab a mask, and we're going to get started. So for this recipe, we're going to need 5 apples, a 1/4 cup of sugar, a 1/2 teaspoon of flour, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. That's all going to be for our mixture. For our topping, we're going to need a little bit more flour. This is going to be 3/4 cups of flour, 1.5 cups of packed brown sugar, 1 stick of butter at room temperature, a knife, or if you have access to a food processor to cut up the apples into slices, a peeler to peel the skin off, and a spatula. And your pan. Alright, to get us started, we are going to peel our apples. When peeling your apples, you want to make sure that you are peeling away from yourself so that you don't end up cutting a finger or cutting someone around you. You also want to make sure you have a nice firm grip on your peeler so that that doesn't fly out of your hand. Always want to make sure we're being safe in the kitchen. If you're not comfortable using a peeler, you can just ask someone else in your home to give you a little hand, or maybe you're doing it with a friend. You can always do it together. All right. Once you've got all the skin off there, we are going to cut out the core because we don't want to eat any of those seeds. Again, I'm going to be using a knife. I'm going to make sure that no one around me is close. We don't want to hurt anyone, and we want to make sure that if we're using something sharp, everyone around us knows it. We are just going to cut that core right out of our apple, throw that to the side. Now to chop these up, we actually used our food processor on the medium slice setting, which you can see here. We got these nice slices of apples. If you don't happen to have a food processor at home, no worries. You can just safely use your knife and cut them into pieces. All right, first we're going to get started making our apple filling. So I have all of those peeled and sliced apples in a bowl. We are going to add our sugar in here, that little bit of flour, and our cinnamon. And then we're going to take our spatula and we're just going to mix all of that until it is combined. We want to make sure we get some cinnamon and sugar all over all of our apples. And then it'll be a nice even flavor once we put it in the pan and bake it. Right, and then you can see that those apples are turning color. That's how you know that that cinnamon is reaching every little bit of apple that we have cut up in here. Once it is mixed all the way through, we are going to transfer it to our pan. When we put it in the pan, once everything's in there, we just want to make sure that every corner of the pan is filled with apples. So you can use your spatula and just kind of move them around. And just make sure you have apples all over the pan. While our flavors are settling in here in our pan, we are going to preheat our oven. Before we preheat the oven, we always want to check inside to make sure you don't have any extra pots or pans in there, or maybe something else is in there. So you just want to make sure that nothing's in there. We are going to preheat our oven today to 375 degrees. And we always want to make sure that anyone in our house knows that we've turned on the oven because it is going to be getting hot. We don't want anyone to get hurt, and you always want to have your oven mitt by. Next, we're going to be making our crumble topping. I've got my room temperature butter. I am going to put my flour in the bowl and our packed brown sugar. And then this is the fun part. So we are actually just going to use our hands. We are going to mix it all together with our hands. You're going to really mush that butter, and it's going to become nice and chunky. It's okay if you do have some chunks once you've completely mixed this, because when it bakes, it's going to turn out totally perfect. We just don't want those real big chunks of butter because it's not really going to give us the consistency that we want. As we start to mix this, it is going to become more of the consistency of like Play-Doh or clay. And that's what you kind of want to look for, with a little bit of sand in there. You can squeeze it in between your fingers, right through your whole hand. Just really mix it good. All right, if you can see here, I do still have some big chunks. That is absolutely fine. Once you have mixed all your ingredients together, we are going to crumble it over top of our apple mixture. And you always want to make sure with this that we are crumbling. So we don't want to pack it down flat onto the apples. That's not going to give us the texture that we want once we bake it. So just continuing to do that crumble action right on top of our apples. Just make sure you get it all over into every corner. Once you have your whole mixture, we are going to throw it into the oven. Because I'm wearing gloves today, I am going to take these off before I grab my oven mitt to just avoid any cross-contamination. If you're not using gloves at home, just make sure you wash your hands in between so that we don't dirty the inside of our oven mitt or have any cross-contamination. Got my oven mitt ready. My oven is ready to go. And I am going to put this right in the oven. Again, 375 degrees, and it will be in there for 30 minutes. We'll see you in 30. All right, our 30-minute timer went off. We are going to turn off our oven first. Make sure we have some oven mitts by and a pot holder to put onto your surface that you're going to put your apple crisp on. Be very careful when taking it out of the oven. Make sure you close that door back up. Now you're going to want to let this cool for about 10 minutes and then you may cut it up and enjoy it. If you want to, we suggest to enjoy with your favorite ice cream. And as we say, cooking should be easy and fun for everyone. We'll see you next time.